It is like blasphemy for them if you say anything against UAE or KSA or MBZ.
And more recently, I've been very critical of Wahhabis and pointing out that their teaching of Islam is also serving a political agenda, agenda that serves some of these Gulf countries, and by proxy Israel and Zionism. And I've demonstrated how exactly this is the case. So they're agents, and they should be criticized.
I just told you, I speak to a lot of rabbis. You know what because I was trying to get into the psychology of these rabbis, and I'm trying to purposely draw this parallel here. Everyone who's listening, you need to go research how the rabbis think so that you would know the problem in the Muslim scholars. The rabbis who are actually calling Persians, Iranians, Gog and Magog right now, according to Ezekiel 38, they're actually writing Ezekiel 38 on every wall of Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, graffiti, and official government campaigns. Ezekiel 38, because they want to, because Persia by name is mentioned, and Gog and Magog is mentioned. All of a sudden, Gog or Magog became Gog and Magog, and both of them became Persian, which, by the way, is not true from the Bible, because I have read the Torah 100 times. So they're using this word Persia, putting the premise in the minds of the world, especially the Jews, that they're justified. And you know what the instrument they use? They say, and I'm quoting Jeremiah here, at the time, the only test would be the love of God for Israel. So either you're going to be in love with Israel or you're going to hate Israel. That's the justification that they have, that people of hell will be cursing God of Israel, and people of heaven, the chosen ones, will be defending or advertising the bigger promise that God made to Israel. And this is their deeper belief. So it's like a insulator. You can't argue with the guy who's already made up his mind that, you know what, if you're going to curse me, you're the guy from hell. And if you're going to love me, regardless of why I curse you, or whether I curse you with a reason or not, regardless of why I love you, whether I am biased towards you or not, this is their instrument to check whether the guy is a guy from heaven or the guy from hell, chosen by God himself. So once you train a child on this psychology, that child loses every ounce of critical thought or thinking in the rest of his journey, and he's never going to be able to come towards the truth. And I'm talking about the Jews by design, because I'm trying to go into the deepest system of the Muslim mind, because Jews are not going to listen to this podcast. Muslim will. And Muslims, they already know that this is such a disgusting way of looking at this. This worldview is as corrupt as Qarun or Fir'aun. So if you have that kind of mindset, nobody can argue with you. And this is the same mindset of all the Arabian scholars who are thriving in Arab, that if you call something, say something against MBS or MBZ, you are a heretic. You are a deviant from, you are the guy who's a Kharji. You're a Kharji, or you're an Ikhwan, you're this and that. They have made UAE an instrument. It's like we don't even use this instrument for the Kaaba. They use this for their countries. And I was listening to another podcast with this Arab guy that you were, debating with. And this Arab guy
He's not Arab. Which Arab guy?
The other guy, the Saudi guy, who was claiming that if in order for a Muslim to become or remain a Muslim, you have to love KSA because you got to do Hajj. And this guy, this is as zealot as it gets. This is the classic Jewish belief. So I'm thinking they're not reacting to you. They're born into the system. They're reacting to the whole planet, the whole universe. So it's in their own minds. When the angel of death is going to come in, he's going to say, do you like UAE or not? And that's the first question, in the grave or the day of judgment. That were you with MBS or MBZ? Or did you say anything against MBZ or MBZ? It's like blasphemy for them. Literally, it is like blasphemy for them if you say anything against UAE or KSA or MBZ. And that's how deep it goes. So when you're going to ask a million times the same question to these guys, they're going to actually be saying, A'udhu billah, because they're actually invoking the deeper system of their belief because you're committing blasphemy in front of them. So you need to understand why they resort to universal truths. That's what I call them. That patience is a virtue. And they make this poker face when they say these kind of things. Wait your turn. You have to have some empathy. Where are your manners? All of these things are going to come at you as soon as you're going to challenge their gods, the little gods that are stored in cells that they're worshiping. And that's why I drew this parallel between those Jewish rabbis who are the influencers and speakers in Tel Aviv right now, and in America and everywhere in the world, and these Muslim speakers. They're suffering from the same virus, same disease, different people, different places, actually different places, not even people.
A lot of them, they have benefited from these Gulf governments because the Gulf governments, they spend literally billions of dollars over the decades funding preachers, building masajid, printing material, hosting websites. This is their dawah, the Gulf dawah. And they have enriched themselves through this. You wouldn't believe some of them, the kinds of cars they drive, the kind of watches they have. But if you live by that, then you're also going to die by that, because when those governments start making these horrendous decisions contrary to the interests of the ummah, when they start allying with Israel, or they start allowing the United States to use their land, their bases, or their airspace to attack Muslim countries, you can't say anything. You can't criticize that. You can't actually break rank. And then you get discredited. The same audience that you've cultivated all these years, with hundreds of hours of videos and lectures and khutbahs, all that audience is going to see you for what you are. You're a hypocrite. You are a palace scholar. You are someone who's compromised morally and Islamically. And this is what they're suffering from now. And they deserve it. They deserve to be discarded. They deserve to be insulted. And this is like a historical pattern that we've seen as well, when scholars, they compromise Islam for their own pockets, for their own fame, fortune, their own access, because many of them, they get first-class access to Mecca, Medina. They get first-class access to Dubai, to all these resources. And they've been enjoying that. They've been benefiting that. You think, me or yourself, like we get that kind of treatment, or that we would be allowed to have that kind of access? No. They won't even necessarily grant a visa, for me at least. So this is something that has been exposed, and as people have said, that October 7th really exposed everyone, showed your true colors, and that's what I've seen it up close and personal. So it's interesting that you caught that ambush, or you caught that discussion.